Who brought me Starbucks? Who knew? So while they're setting up, so everyone, if I could have your attention for a moment, while they're setting up our computer, something, you know, I always feel like at these seminars, it's not never, like the presentations are really important, obviously, but it's always the side conversations that you hear, right? Sure, that'd be great.
That way I don't yell and I can record you.
I like that.
Whoa, futuristic. Same switch to turn off.
Okay, can you all hear me? Super? Okay, awesome. Now I got all these wires though.
Here, I'll help you out. You need to wear a jacket like everyone else, sir. I've got a stapler in my office.
You can't hurt a steel.
That might get in the way, but I think you'll be in good shape, Fred.
Is that okay? All right. Thank you. Y'all can hear me? Good? Yes, sir. Okay, awesome. So a couple things before we start. Well, they're still, they cut it up. First and foremost, can we have a huge hand for Master Mertens and his staff? Wow. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good. As I was saying earlier, yeah, the presentations are amazing, but it's always the little side conversations that you have. And I got into one by accident yesterday night. I said to some of the staff members, I said, how long did you work at World Class before you went off and opened your own school? And one said 12 years. It's like, 12 years, that's a long time. And then another was like 10 years, and then 14 years. And I think that serves as an important reminder that it's not overnight. The universal thing that all three of these people said was they're so lucky to have had Master Mertens for a mentor for that many years, right? And that it was so polished by the time they left to open their own school, they literally felt like they were saying exactly what they did here in Buffalo, right? I think that's so impressive. And it should serve as a cautious reminder too. I'm very much a realist. It should serve as a reminder. Don't rush it and don't do it before you're ready, right? So, with that, oh, but by the way, Master Mertens totally stole stuff from my presentation, I'm positive. So, just saying. All right. Do I have my little... Sorry? It's okay. It's okay. We can sort that. It's okay. No problem. See, that's multi-school owners. You got to learn to adapt. It's okay. All right. Multiple locations, building an empire. So who are we? We're the largest school in Ohio. We have 7 locations. Anytime, right now it's more like 23 to 2,500 students. And well, they don't come every day because we couldn't fit them in our schools, but that's what we have. Personnel, we have approximately 80 employees. There's 2 owners, my wife and I, right? A full-time graphic designer, director of marketing, a full-time membership confirmer and test events manager, I'll go into that in a second. 6 call center employees, 20 full-time program directors and head instructors, 1 proud chief instructor, and a small army of assistants. All right, the 2 owners, my wife and I, right? Graphic designer, I hired him by accident. Totally by accident. I needed a flyer made for an event, right? Before that, we were just kind of piecemealing it. And honest to God, I was really the graphic designer. I was captain publisher, and I would make every flyer for every event, every schedule, every price sheet, everything. And one of my students recommended this guy. And my problem is, I love artists, but they have no timeline usually, like because it's never done right. They want to make it perfect. If I need it by Friday, I need it by Friday. Just get it close to perfect. Give me like 80, 90%, and if there's errors, we'll fix that. No problem. So I asked him to design a flyer, and he had it for me like 2 hours later. I was like, wow, this is good. So I asked him, what do you do? I work at Restoration Hardware. What's your background? Da, 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 da. So I asked him what he made. Okay? So I paid him $5,000 more than what he was currently making. And I said, I see great things ahead. I think we're going to be really a great team. I just don't know what it looks like yet. So I'm willing to hire you right now 40 hours a week. And as long as you're good with kind of going with the flow and as we're going to grow together, we're good. So he agreed to it, and 11 years later, he's our director of marketing. Right? I just saw potential in it. I didn't know what that potential was, to be honest with you. I didn't know what it looked like. Like that. Is the password world class?
Something like that. Part of the game.
I got 2 of these guys.
Next slide, sir.
No. Membership confirmer, test events manager. I have somebody, every membership we write, we have 7 locations, right? The membership software that we use has to be open to a little bit of customization. So our staff members, the ones who enroll, can change the terms of the membership. We need that flexibility. But I need somebody to verify what they've changed, right? So we're very Microsoft. We trust, but we verify. Test events manager. a lot of that goes to our director of marketing these days, but really, we're very analog. If you go to my office, I have a calendar of the entire year, it's on paper, and above that, I have a calendar of what we did last year. We marked out all our test dates on this thing when I'm out of town, like that is the calendar. Then it goes to a Google Calendar that we all share, right? Call center employees. So for our schools, I don't want the instructors answering their phones. One, because they're not trained. They're not trained to handle an information call, a complaint call, a advertising call. They're not trained. So just like I wouldn't have one of our front desk people go and teach a class, I'm not going to have one of our class people go and answer a phone. So all of our calls come into our main location. Okay? Yeah, and there's 6 of them. They're not all full time. Like they rotate. Oh, is that for me?
This was nice.
You want me on the stage? Absolutely.
Thank you.
Of course.
Does it work?
Yeah, I just used it first.
Yeah.
All right, we should be okay then.
I'm on the stage. I got a bottle of water. Wow, you guys really got the hook up there. All right.
My best work is how you do it right there.
All right. 20 full-time program directors and head instructors. So 7 locations. A couple locations are pretty big. So we have 2 head instructors at my headquarters location. We have 2 instructors and we have 3 rooms at that school. So there's a lot going on there. There's a lot of staff there. One of my other locations may just have 1 head instructor, a program director, and like 7 part-timers. Again, not all at the same time. Krav Maga, total accident. Total accident. One of my black belts was really into self-defense. It kind of went from there. Our Krav Maga is 30 strong. That's sarcasm. Right? It's a great little ancillary, but it's definitely not what we do. A small army of assistant instructors. We start hiring instructors at 14 years old. We have a leadership team before that at 10 years old, and they're just kind of going. We are probably one of the largest employers of 14-year-olds in my city, and they suck. They're terrible. 14-year-old staff members are just awful normally. But that's the expectation, right? The expectation of all our instructors are they're probably not going to be very good, so let's limit what we give them to make them good. Right? Does that make sense? Right? You've got to limit your expectations, and if they exceed their expectations, oh, awesome. But they're not going to because they're 14. So easy. Don't have them run classes. Easy. Where I've been, oh man. So I was hired at 18 years old in 1990. I opened my first location in 1994 under my instructor. My instructor moved back to South Korea in 1995, so I assumed ownership of one of them, and in 96, I owned all of them. In 97, I attempted, because kickboxing was pretty hot, I attempted to put in a kickboxing program, and it totally failed within 1 month. 1998, I went back, it was like 1 month later, I'm like, okay, I'm terrible at this. I went to visit one of my friend's schools who was killing it. I'm like, that's what I was doing wrong. And we had this massive kickbox program. We had like 11 locations. And then I was running the majority of classes in 2 or 3 of them, and I broke my ankle, and that was the end of kickboxing. Because they were all coming to see me. And then I wasn't teaching. And then it went like this. And then freaking Billy Blank stops advertising Tybo, and that's what killed us. You remember, Tybo, if you've never heard of that, go YouTube it. Billy Blanks was giving us $1 billion of free advertising. So we were definitely capitalizing on that. By 2001, I was down to 1 location, and I was done. I'm like, I'm never opening another location again. This is going to be my forever school, and we got 10,000 square feet. It was going to be this massive training center, which is actually what it is now, but that was going to be my one and only. 2003, we separated from my instructor. Yeah, he was in Korea, I was here. It wasn't a great pair. It wasn't a great pairing because, frankly, his family was still in the United States. They wanted to see it run how he would run it. I was running it how I thought he would run it, a little bit conflicting interest. So we just decided it's better, hey, I'm just going to do my own thing and we're good. In 2005, one of my juniors, so if I was lined up here at my instructor's school, he would have been lined up like 2 lines behind me over there. So I've known this guy forever, one of my good friends. Password. So he was a chemist at Bonnie Bell in Avon, Ohio, and he developed a latex allergy. Well, cosmetics are mostly latex, so there goes his career. And he said, well, sir, I really want to, I want to do what you do. Like, oh, I promised myself I would open 8 more schools. So against my better judgment, I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to go with it. So we opened the school. In 3 months, we got to 50 people. Boom, quick. And in 9 months, we're still at 50 people. So I'm banging my head against the wall thinking, what have I done? Like, why have I done this to myself again? So I went there, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to fix this. So I figured out exactly what was wrong, fixed it, and never looked back. And that school, I mean, it's over 400 to this day. I mean, it's a great school. It's a great location. That password's
I'm trying to turn it off so it never does that again, sir.
It's okay.
Where do you tell everybody the password?
It's my fingerprint.
It's password.
So I need your fingerprints.
It's a password with the 2 S's as dollar signs. Yeah. All right. So in 2005, we opened that school. By 2007, I had my systems down. I knew exactly what I was doing. So we opened 2 schools in the same month, March of 2007. We opened my Broadview School, my Talmadge School, which are still in the same locations they work. 2010, 5th school, 2011, 6th and 7th, and 8th schools. In 2015, we started a very, very, very boutique consulting business for some of our AAU friends. In 2019, we consolidated schools 9 and 10 into 1 profitable location. So we had 2 schools, one on this side of town, one on this side of town. They didn't need 2 locations, so we merged them into 1 and became profitable. My wife came out with a preschool program. It's to this day, Russell Raccoon is the AAU national mascot. It's kind of cool. And today we have 7 schools. We have less than the numbers up here, and we are more profitable and happier than ever. Right? More doesn't necessarily mean more money, more income, more freedom, better stuff. Like it doesn't necessarily mean that stuff. Right? A lot of times people think I'm going to open 2 schools, I'll double the income. That's cute. That's adorable. All right. We have Monday meetings. We literally have Monday meetings. Whether you have a staff our size or just a few, a big part of your job should be weekly meetings to reinforce your mission. In these meetings, we never discuss money. We just don't. We discuss student quality, student experience. Because if those things are right, the financial part is going to take care of itself. I've never worried about the financial part. Taekwondo has been very good to me and my family. I've never worried about the financial part. It's impossible for me to be in all my schools. It literally is impossible. I can't be 7 places at one time. But I do meet with the team for 4 hours 2 times per week. Head instructors. They're awesome, right? They're the life of the party, right? If you're going to be stuck at an airport somewhere for 3 hours, you want to be stuck with one of our head instructors because they will just entertain the hell out of you, right? And that's how I think most head instructors should be. They should be the spotlight, right? You see Master Cook this morning? He was the spotlight. He commanded the room. That's a head instructor. That's what you want, right? Master Mertens, at one time, he was a head instructor. You can tell. And they just command the room. Program directors should be detailed, organized, sales-driven, because the life of the party isn't necessarily the most organized person. Right? Head instructors are, oh, we gotta do this, we gotta do this, we gotta do this, we gotta do this. And they don't do a lot of things because they're just in 10 different directions. If you think about it, you almost have to be ADD to run a good class, because you have to be watching like 7 things at one time. Right? That's why head instructors a lot of times don't make the best frankly, they don't make the best owners sometimes. They don't make the best managers. But you got to know your strengths and your weaknesses. A mistake we made in the past was positioning one over the other. So the head instructor has been here the longest and he's in charge or she's in charge. That causes conflict, right? Sometimes the head instructor was general manager, sometimes the program director was general manager. So we made them on the same position. We positioned them as teammates. And that really solved a lot of problems. Right? Today, only one time supervisor. Oh yeah. The only time that the head instructor would be in charge is if the program director would be part-time. Does that make sense? Because you can't have a program director who's working 20 hours a week be in charge of the school. There's no such thing. You can't. Okay, any questions so far? We good? Cool. All right. This is where he totally stole my presentation. Okay. No, this is just common stuff. School owners with big operations have a few things in common. Ability to self-diagnose weaknesses. Gotta be honest. If you have weaknesses, it's okay. You just find somebody to fix it or you find a way to fix it. I'm always looking for things to tinker with, things we can improve. Always. I could look at a class with 40 people. Wow, they're doing a really great job. I bet we can do this a little bit better. You gotta be like that, right? I drive my wife crazy with that stuff too. Like, because I always want it a little bit better. But that's why we're successful. Because I always want it a little better. My staff is very good. There's always ways to make the product the best it can be. Personality conflicts do happen. And you need great leadership to solve these problems. Takeaway. If there's conflicts between your top staff, it may, not it is, it may be a lack of leadership. This is a very important message if you want to have multiple schools. Because look, I'm here to tell you, if something goes wrong, it's your fault. It is 100% the owner's fault. You have to have that attitude. You cannot blame anyone because it just doesn't work. There's a reason why this went wrong. It's a lack of leadership on my part. I need to fix it. And the last part is the key. I need to go fix this. Because once you accept responsibility for it, then you also want to find the fastest way out of the problem. Does that make sense? Good? Okay. Checklist. Now, this is kind of cool. You don't have to raise your hand, but inside I need you to be honest, okay? We're not going to make a public thing, but just be honest. Who cannot be at their school for 1 week? See the fire? You're going to watch. Who cannot be at their school for 2 weeks? Right? See that little red sign at the bottom? See, that's my graphic artist. I always tell my guy Daniel that he's the Leonardo da Vinci. He like puts the little things in that no one will catch, but it's sarcasm, right? The red. Who cannot be at their school for 2 weeks and still bring the same income? Oh, I wasn't at my school the entire week. How much revenue are you pulling? Oh, we're down a little bit. Okay. Feel good about that? Right? Schools have to be able to operate whether you're there or not there. And the biggest thing I learned is it cannot be about me. It needs to be about the team that we put in there. The last time I visited my schools, I was in Aurora in October. I was at Beechwood for a test in March. Broadview October. I haven't been in Green in over a year. Hudson, I'm there every day. And the last 2 schools I was at there testing in May. Now you want to ask me the last time I taught a class in any of the schools? Can't remember. Hudson, I'm there pretty much every day, so I'll go in and out, and like, if I see some adults that, you know, or some higher ranks, or even Orangeville that I think I'm walking by and I think I can help, I'm like, hey. Just little stuff like that. But I don't run classes at these locations. Very honestly, and not conceited, if I go teach there, Now that instructor has to compare against me. And I've been doing this a long time. And I like to think I'm pretty freaking good at it. But the problem is, now I put my instructor at that location in a really bad position because they have to live up to Dad's shadow. That's tough. So I don't go into their classroom. And at testing, I'm like, oh my God, let's give a hand to Master Kurzweil. He's doing such a good job with you guys. I make sure that they applaud for that staff after every single round of belts. It's about the staff. I don't stand up there and be like, I am so freaking awesome because I taught him how to teach you guys, and without me, you'd be nothing. It can't be about that, right? Even though it's true, but okay. It can't be about that. It has to be about the instructors, right? You've put them in the power to be the instructor at that location. Let them be the instructor. No ego. No ego at all. It's all about them. Okay. Now, this is where Master Mertens really stole my presentation. Did you have to close your seminar? And this is not a shaming thing, but a lot of times we'll use elements of this seminar for our business meetings at our AAU Nationals. A lot of times coaches are the worst at this stuff. They close their school for a week to go to Nationals. They have no revenue coming in. Look, your rent is due. Whether you're open 30 days a month or 15 days a month, it's the same rent. So, are you really aware of what it costs to be at a convention, a nationals, whatever? Okay, ready? Master Mertens, how many schools did he close to be here? None. Because this would be a very expensive seminar for him to put on if he had to close 5 locations. Think about that. Even if every location only did $1,000 for today or the weekend, that's $5,000. And not to mention all the future business and all the referrals, right? And the phone calls he would miss. That's a lot. All those things, that's what you miss when you close. Now, I'm not saying you can't close, but you've got to be aware of that because one school is one thing. When you have 2 schools, now it's double. You have 4 schools, now it's 4 times. And that's, I think it's really important. It's all scale. Before you open school number two, are you doing these things correctly? Now, answer your phone, that's just a really common phrase, but it's not only answer your phone, it's answer your email, answer your text messages, right? And there's a lot of software these days that do automation, and they're great. But what happens when the automation doesn't work or they don't answer it back? You need to follow that up with a phone call. The phone is not dead, believe me. Otherwise, I would have 6 full-time employees that employees that manage our front desk. We get leads in, and you want to be contacting them right then and there. But a lot of times they don't answer you back. You got to contact them again. And it can't always be a computer that contacts them, because people know it's a computer that's contacting them. Right? During business hours, your phone must be answered. At Asian Sun, we answer no later than the 3rd ring. Whether the building is on fire, we have a class full of 40 people, a lobby full of parents asking questions, all of the above. Right? And you know why? Because people these days, if they're going to search you, they're going to search on Google, you're going to come on Google Maps. They're going to call you. You don't answer, they're going to call the next one. They're going to keep calling until somebody answers. And the one that they get a hold of is the one that they're going to go to. What's the most common reason how people choose schools these days? What do you think? Location. If a school is 5 minutes from my house or 25 minutes from my house, which one do you think I'm going to? I'm going to try the 5-minute first. Only when that one is not great for me am I going to look elsewhere. But I'm going to go closest to my house first. So you got one chance. You don't answer your phone, you don't answer your text, you don't answer your email, you don't answer your leads, they're going to move on to the next one. Support staff. If you're already doing all these things, awesome. Because now Remember, having 2 businesses, oh, and guys, you'll be able to get all these slides at the end of the presentation. They're going to have them all online. Like, this entire thing will be online. If you want to take pictures, you're more than welcome to, but everything is online.
It's already online.
Yeah. Who said that? Nice. I even got a thumbs up. There you go. Having 2 schools is not double the problems. It's like 4 times the problems. Seriously. Ask any multi-school owner, they'll tell you the same thing. It's like 4 times the problems because you can't be in 2 places at one time. And here's an example that's not in the presentation. I lost a student over arm guards once. I was young, remember, I was 22. I was 22 when I had my first, 23 when I had my second. So my schedule would be Monday, Wednesday, Friday at school 1, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday at school 2. And I would think most multi-school owners probably at one time had the same schedule. So on Monday, I was in school A. We sold a pair of arm guards, right? I had to get them from school B. Tuesday. I deliver the arm guards Wednesday, right? I'm back here Thursday. Those arm guards are the wrong size. Friday, Saturday, Monday. I'm back here on Tuesday. Well, they came there on Tuesday, they're still the wrong size. This went on for like 2 weeks. They were so mad they quit. And then my front desk couldn't find, I brought like 3 pairs. They couldn't find 2 of the 3. I lost them over arm guards because I tried being in 2 places at one time. That's a really stupid reason to lose a student over arm guards. But it wasn't the arm guards, it was the lack of service. That's what did it. And again, you got to be objective. So, did I lose them? Like, why are they being so petty? No, I failed to serve them. It was a lack of service on my part. So I learned from it. You know, you got to have thick skin to be a school owner in general, but to be a multi-school owner, you got to have real thick skin, and you have to be able to self-diagnose and willing to fix the problem. Pastor Mertens, if you heard him said that he screwed up a payroll thing and he drove across town, that's a multi-school owner right there. 3 rules. Don't make it hard for people to do business with you. The customer might be right. The customer is not always right, but they might be right. So let's not judge. Let's find out all the details of the situation and make a good assessment and treat the customer with dignity and respect. Make sense, right? But don't think automatically when somebody calls and complains that your staff member is necessarily wrong. You got to find out all the information. You don't know it. Numbers don't lie. They don't lie. A lot of times school owners are not really sure of their numbers. Right? The biggest one that we hear in the consulting business, oh, if you get a student in my door, I enroll 90% of them. No, you don't. If you enroll 9 out of 10, you would enroll 9 people per month. Right? Okay? So after 10 months, you'd have 90 more people than what you have right now. After 20 months, you would have 180 more people than you have right now. Come on. No, you don't. Maybe you enroll 50%. Maybe you enroll 30% this month and 80% this month. It fluctuates. It's all over the place. Right? But you got to be honest with those numbers. Don't make it difficult for people to do business with you. We accept all forms of payment. We don't have a do this membership or get out. We give them choices of what they can do. You want to do month to month at our school? No problem. Thank you. It's more expensive. Beautiful. Do it. The last thing is sign the membership now. Water heater's great. I had a call from one of my head instructors. I'm like, how'd you guys... And those of you who are around me this weekend, around like 7 to 8 o'clock at night, will see me go on 30-second phone calls. Every one of my schools calls me every single night. We talk for about 30 seconds. It's like, hey, how was your day? Good. What all happened? And one of my instructors said, oh, sir, this person's going to sign up, but they're going to wait till Friday. Okay, why are they going to wait till Friday? Well, I was teaching class and I didn't have time to enroll them, so they're going to come back on Friday. Okay. I get the call on Friday. Hey, what happened to that person that's, they didn't think I was going to remember. What happened to that person that's going to enroll on Friday? They enroll today? No, sir, their water heater broke and they said that they can't enroll now. I said, so what's the moral of the story? Enroll them now. Don't wait. Enroll them now. It's a true story. The customer might be right. When the customer complains, that's a student's parent or a student or whoever, there might be a problem. Always welcome it. Always welcome it. Right? Don't say no. There's a reason we write everything down when these problems happen, right? And some examples, and it doesn't matter if it's a written note, a digital note, whatever, but we write everything down. Like every membership we write is digital. Every attendance card we have, every new student information sheet, liability forms, incident reports, everything is written down. And somehow it is digitized with their name on it. Because you know why? If we have a conversation 3 months from now, I'm not going to remember exactly what we said at that conversation. So I'm going to go back and reference my notes to find out what I said. Numbers don't lie. Schoolers are unsure about actual numbers. Very true. If some of you have programs where it tells you your exact active count, I double check that active count. You know, if your active count says 500, but you have 10 people in your classes, you'd have 500. Think about it. How is it possible you have 500? 3 classes a day, 10 people, that's 30 people. Over 4 days, that's 120. Where's the other 380? See what I mean? So the way we determine an active member is anyone who has tested in the last 2 months. If they haven't tested in the last 2 months, we don't really count them as active. That's how we get our true active count. Black dots and testing numbers. Our school is run by belt testing. So everything is around the test. We test every student in there just call it every 2 months, right? We test the entire school at once. So we don't have a test every single month. We test the entire school because it resets our cycle, right? So as soon as everyone tests, it's white stripe week. They're going to learn the first 2 motions of their form. I know that sounds ridiculous and simple, but that's the way we do it. So literally in class, if they're yellow belt or if they're orange belts, they're going to learn 1, and then the next motion will be a front kick and then a punch. That's all they're going to work on. It's going to take like 2-3 minutes. They're going to do it a couple times. Okay, you can get your white stripe. All of our forms are broken down by stripe. So I know that, and our stripes go by our belt colors, right? White, yellow, orange, blue, green, then brown, red, black, right? I know that if a student has a yellow stripe, they've done the first 2 part of the I pattern. All our forms are I pattern, right? They've done the first 2 parts, white, yellow. Orange is going forward. Blue is going forward. Green means that they can do their test requirement. Doesn't mean that they are awesome at it. It means that they can do it. Brown is for braking. Red and black means that they're ready to test. We will have everyone ready for testing in 5 weeks. 5 weeks, that is the countdown. Now, we do half of the form. We don't do the entire form because we have 45 minutes to prepare these people. And an 8-week test cycle, that's what we have. So I'd rather have them look really good at a smaller amount than not so great at a larger amount. Does that make sense? Right? Our black belt's 3 years. Yeah, that's just how we do it. It doesn't mean it's good for you, but it works really well for us. Goal sheets and tracks. We track every appointment we have, every single appointment we have. We track every enrollment we have, every lead we have, every phone call they made, we track. Goal sheets. Yeah, you know, we can pull up. I was telling somebody yesterday, I get a text every day from every one of our locations too. It just tells me what they did that day. So it tells me cash check, Visa Master membership. It's just a little 4-line text. Somebody goes, well, can't you run a report? I could, but I just don't want to. I just don't want to take my time to run a report on my phone. Or just text me what you did today. Simple. Because that's my system and how I monitor the progress of 7 locations. Does that make sense? Okay. So if I see that they batched $0 3 days in a row, we probably have an issue. All right. For this part, see the top line right there? Please have an open mind on this. Please have an open mind. Class procedures may need work. Master Merton said the other day that if your class is not good and your mats are dirty and your bathrooms are dirty, he's going to have a very difficult time enrolling anyone in your school. And it's true. So I tell our staff all the time, the only thing that we make are black belts. That's our product. That's it. That's our job. That's what we do. We make yellow belts, we make orange belts, we make black belts, we make students. That's our product. Right? So our product has to be the best there is. We need to communicate with our staff daily about that. Goals, badges, classes, problems. That's my evening phone number. Disconnected employees implode over time. That's why I talk to every single one of my head instructors every night for 30 seconds. It's a touch point. I want them to know that I care about what they're doing. I don't want them on an island. On an island's bad. When your class is broken, you cannot enroll people. Right? What you are teaching is not the most important thing. Right? So who teaches Tegut forms in here? Raise your hand. Good. Put your hands down. Who teaches any Palgate forms? Super. Who teaches any other kind of form? Any weapon? Any other thing? Not too many. That's okay. Okay. Which one's better, Tegut or Palgate? It doesn't matter. Stop. Just stop. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They'll learn what you tell them to learn. Believe me, no mother of a 4-year-old is going to say, "Hi, did you say good Palgate?" Palgate? No, thank you. Come on. Right? It's just not. It doesn't matter. What you're teaching is not the most important thing, so long as they are sweating and having fun and progressing in rank and skill. That is the most important thing. Now, we don't teach Tegut or Palgate under black belt. We teach elements of forms that I have learned throughout the years that work for our system. Yet, our competition team is one of the top forms competition teams at nationals every year at AAU. Why? Because we have a separate competition team class that we can spend the time that those forms need and deserve to make them great at those forms. That's a whole different department. See the bottom, but my school is different. I love you guys, but it's not. Take it for Palgate, does not matter. Parents, especially mom. She doesn't care how many stripes are on your belt. She doesn't. She only cares about it, the class head child, and if your bathrooms are clean. Right? Another one, don't fear the master opening across the street, fear the future instructor who can talk. Because there's a lot of really good martial artists that can't run a school to save their lives. Right? But the future instructor who can talk and is personal with parents, that's the one that you should pay attention to. And you should hire them. Personality is more important in aptitude and assistance who teach intro lessons. Yes. Master Merton said it best, hire for personality, train for skill. It's true. Hire somebody who is going to treat your students like gold. Those are the ones you hire. If you have a snotty competitor who has an attitude, don't put them in front of people. Don't do that. That's bad for business. Don't do that. I want every one of our instructors to be a reflection of me, and I treat our students like gold. I treat them the best I could possibly treat them. So everyone should be a reflection of me. These are some things that systems-driven schools, again, Master Mertens, right? There's commonality. Like if you ask some of our speakers who are multi-school owners, they have a lot of this too. Like we have a uniform price sheet at every single school. It looks the same. It's identical. Instructor and program director, they all went through the same thing. Front desk training, they all went through the same thing. Phone scripts, they all answer the phone the same way. Event promotion, they know exactly how to promote events. Like everything's the same. And see where it's redundancy, bench strength? Okay. So let's have a scenario. Let's say that you own 3 schools, right? How many head instructors do you have? Okay, throw out a number. 3, right?
4.
You need 4. Why? In case one quits, in case one's sick. You have 7 schools. You don't have 8 head instructors. You have 8 or 9. Yes, sir. You have 8 or 9 because my schools cannot shut down. So if one of my head instructors comes to me and says, you know, sir, I think I'm just going to move to California. I'd be like, okay, why? We talk about it. Hey, that's awesome. And then now I'm going to, as soon as they say goodbye, I'm going to be on my phone looking at which head instructor I'm going to move to this other school. Who's going to get their shot at having their own school? That's what I'm looking at. So redundancy is very important when you have multiple schools, but it's expensive. Right? It's expensive, but you have to have it. So I would rather invest in future head instructors and sleep well at night. Okay? Now, we still have time for this, which is cool. I was hoping we'd get to this. That's on multiple schools. And I think my presentation is more of a cautionary tale on what you need to have to open multiple schools, right? But here's the thing. If it was such a bad idea, I wouldn't have done it. The other multi-school owners wouldn't have done it. Having multiple schools is freaking awesome. I love it. I absolutely love it. There are so many perks. The perks are amazing. But there's a lot of responsibility with it too. The most dangerous multi-school to do is 1 to 2. So when you open your first one to your second one, that's the most dangerous one. That's where you're going to fall on your face. No matter how hard you try, you're going to fall on your face. You're going to be okay. You're going to dust yourself off. But you're going to get punched in the mouth a couple times there. Right? When you go from, once you go to 4, you got it down. Because you can't be in 4 places at one time. So you have systems at that point, and then the sky's the limit. It's 4, 5, 6, 7, you know. Then it just gets to be, how do I create more instructors? It's a whole other trick. How long has world-class Taekwondo been around?
Buffalo, 31 years. Before that, 1940.
Right. There are 5 in Buffalo because they can only make instructors so fast. Otherwise, Master Mertens would own 50 schools. Staffing schools is like the #1 hard part. So take your time, make sure you have the right people before you jump into opening another location. A funny little side note, I'm not sure he's in here. If he or she happens to be in here, I'm not going to tell you who they are, but there's a funny story. I totally forgot about this, but I was reminded of it when he told me. He asked me at a national event one year, he said, "Oh, sir, I'm going to open another school." I'm like, "Okay, so what are you doing?" And he told me his plan. And I guess apparently I said, "Is it too late to get out of it?" I wasn't trying to be mean or trying to be that guy, but he's like, I'm like, and I didn't remember saying it. I'm like, I said that to you. He's like, "Is it too late to get out of it?" He's like, "Well, I already signed the lease." And that school lasted 8 months. You know, and you can see it. When you've been around enough, you can kind of see what's coming. So, should you open another school? God, yeah, absolutely. Make sure you have the staff for it. Yes, sir?
Thanks. So what was the problem that you saw with that individual that you knew was not going to work out?
Didn't have the staff. He wasn't ready. Didn't have the staff. You know, and I don't remember the details exactly, but you know, I can tell you, if you tell me your plan to open another school is with 2 part-timers, and one's gonna work Monday, Wednesday, and the other's gonna work Tuesday, Thursday, I would say don't do it. Unless it's like a YMCA program, or like something with real low rent or low exposure. But if you're putting up your money for a commercial lease, look, even if the rent is $3 grand a month, that's what, $36,000 a year? Over 3 years, it's gonna be over 100 grand. Are you willing to bet 100 grand? I'm not. No way. Okay, so let's get through this real quick. So I sit on the National Executive Committee for AAU Taekwondo. I've been around tournaments a long time. I was the Secretary General for USA Taekwondo in Ohio for a million years ago, USTU. So I've been around the tournament scene a long time, and most recently, you know, I keep doing things and they keep adding more things to my plate. So now this year I'm going to be the National Director of Coaching for Olympic Style Sparring in AAU. It's just, the more I help, the more I get involved and blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you this because I have a lot of experience with tournaments and with national teams, right? These are the things that we do to manage large-scale events. We need a front desk check-in, we need referees, we need a chief referee, we need medal distribution, we need a holding area. These are non-negotiables, right? If you look at the bottom, see where it says this is usually the make or break point in a tournament? It's very true. The holding area will make or break you. If you have a holding area that takes forever to get matches out, they will crush you. Absolutely crush you. Venue selection. How many rings are you going to run is really your question. So how many competitors do you think you're going to have and how many rings are you going to run? AKA, how long do you want to be there? That's the big question. How long do you want to be there? So if you have a tournament with 200 people and you run one ring, you're going to be there a really long time. If you have a 200-person tournament and you run 4 rings, you're going to run it 4 times as fast. If you have a 200-person tournament with 6 rings, you're going to be done by like 3 o'clock. You're done fast. Size, facilities, location. It needs to have great parking. It needs to have a secure entrance and secure exit, right? So if you have a facility that has 20 doors on the side, then good luck collecting admission tickets, right? There has to be like one central point to come in. Think about how you register for this seminar. There was a choke point. There's a desk that you have to stop at. Any of you have health club memberships? Right? Okay. What's the first thing you do when you go to the health club? Go to the front desk. Can't get past the front desk. And if you have one of those like 24-hour fitnesses, you got to scan your card. You don't get in that door without scanning your card that tells you have a valid membership. Confirm date of the tournament. Right? Pick a date that people can go to. Don't pick 4th of July during AAU Nationals, USA Taekwondo Nationals, 4th of July holiday. No one will come to your event. Pick a date that no events are on, preferably. Detailed timeline, registration, what in your program, what time is registration, opening ceremony, matches. You got to have all this ahead of time. Budget. These are your general costs. Venue, equipment, awards, marketing, sponsors, funding source are going to be your sponsorships, which for a local tournament are not going to be a whole lot normally. Entry fees and fundraising. So for a local tournament, entry fees. That's going to be your prime revenue. Spectators and entry fees. Market and promotion. So here's an example. I carry these wherever I go. This is my tournament coming up October 5th. Right? I literally carry these wherever I go. This is that. See the little QR on the bottom? That takes you to the website. Now, my registration's not open yet because I use the exact same registration for national championships. So I'm not going to put an event before AAU National Championships. As soon as National Championships is done, that registration will be live. Social media. flyers, local media, email campaigns. If you have a tournament list that people have gone to before, you email them again, right? Internal promotion. To have a successful tournament, usually you want a lot of local participation from your school. So you got to make the tournament so that your students would want to do it. Make sense, right? So if you have a forms-heavy school, don't have a sparring-only tournament. So at my last tournament, so we did the regional championship, Asian Sun had 120 students at that regional championship. So I made sure that our competitive teams, it's designed for them, and then all the other ones too. Registration process. Online registration. So we run two different kind of tournaments. We run AAU tournaments, we run inter-school tournaments. Our inter-school tournaments, guys, are not online. Why not? Because I need our students' parents to go to the front desk and ask which events they're going to do so that they don't get it wrong. I need that customized, so I don't have it online. All the AAU stuff, that's all online because their coaches are going to tell them what to do. AAU, we don't have any in-person day of registration. Our inter-school, absolutely. It's more, it's going to cost you more, but you can still do it. Cutoff dates. We have an early registration, a regular, and a late. Normally, let's say that, so my tournament October 5th, so early registration will be until September 1st. So anytime before September 1st, there'll be a $10 discount. September 1st through September 30th will be regular registration. September 30th through, October 1st through probably October 3rd is late registration. It's more on purpose so that people register earlier. If I let everyone register at the last week, how do I know who's coming? I can't plan the number of rings, number of referees, number of medals. I can't do that. Is this good so far? You guys got it? Good? Okay, cool. Equipment and supplies. Some things. Mats, uniforms, scoring devices. If you use KPMP, you need scoring devices. Tables, chairs, boards. If you have breaking, which I would highly suggest at your tournament because a lot of your students will do breaking. They may do nothing else, but they'll break. Stock rental. So a lot of times, if our students, this is their first tournament, or someone else's students, like a beginner, they don't want to buy $100 KPMP socks. But you can rent them for $30, so they'll rent them. It sounds kind of disgusting, right? But if I get 3 rentals, is that a 10-minute sign or a 5-minute sign? 5 minutes? Sir, no problem. Come on, professional. We actually kill it on sock rental. If we rent a KPMP sock 3 times, it pays for the value of it, and we just keep renting them and keep renting them. We have like a box of KPMP socks this big, right? You cannot rent them at Nationals, so don't go to Nationals and be like, I need to rent socks. They'll be like, that's funny. Concessions. We don't get a nickel from concessions, but we still have, we make sure our facilities have concessions because we want happy parents. Truck rental. So we have 3 warehouses. 1 warehouse is only tournaments. For the last tournament, we needed 3 26-foot liftgate trucks. It's like a Nationals. But at my last tournament, we had 10 by 10 octagon rings. It's literally a mini Nationals, right? But my truck rental was probably $1,200. That all has to be figured into your cost of tournament. That's why it costs $99 for one event at my tournament, because I'm putting out a freaking awesome product. Meal provisions for staff. You have to feed your people. Staffing. You need judges, referees, ushers, front desk staff, holding staff, point of sale staff, ring runners, trophies, and food service. These are a lot of things that you need. And again, you'll be able to pick all this online. Medical staff. Please, please, please have a proper medical staff. Please. That's so important, because you never know. So you want to make sure that you're caring for all the people that are at your event. You're the host. You're the mayor of Tournamentville that day. So make sure that your citizens are happy and cared for. A police officer, yes. Yes. Do we ever need it? No. Do we have him there? Yes. Why? Because the one time where you're not going to have him, we're going to need him. We always have police. At nationals, there are many police. Police are not cheap. You cannot go without it. Always have security at a tournament. Insurance rider, yes. Always have insurance at your events. Awards and recognition. This is my medal order. This is for my inter-school tournament. For my inter-school tournament, I run a little bit differently. I have a first place, a second place, and 2 third places, and we make all divisions of 4 people. So my inter-school is all divisions of 4. And we tell the parents like this, look, the world is going to teach your child how to lose. I need to teach them how to win. So let them have a taste of success at this. Because if they want to compete later and they go to a state tournament, odds are their first state, they're not going to leave with the medal. So let them learn how to win. And frankly, if a kid walks away with 4 bronzes for the day, they know. They're going to try harder next time. But yeah, that's my sample medal order. Oh, at the bottom, the recognition awards for participant schools. See those grand champion trophies right there? I actually give 2 of those to the 2 top schools that bring me the most people. So we bring them up, big grand champion trophies, they're happy, everyone's happy. Post-tournament evaluation. That Monday, my staff, we have a hands-on deck, all hands on deck to discuss. We play what's called red light, yellow light, green light. You guys ever hear that? So red light, we have a whiteboard, right? And we red, yellow, green. Red light, what are things that we should never do again? And I just let them list them. No explanation, you're not allowed to explain. Yellow light, what are some things maybe we want to think about? Good. Green light, what are the things we should absolutely do again because it killed it? What are those things? And then we go over here to red light, and it's 1 minute per topic. Now, if there's only like 3 topics, we'll go 3 minutes per topic. But I only want about 10 minutes per section. Because your staff is going to zone out after a while. It's just too much. Does that make sense? I got that from the Cleveland Cavaliers organization. They do that. Red light, yellow light, green light. It's awesome. Okay. That's it. I probably have... What is that? Oh, thank you. All right. If you have any questions... See, that's how you time it, Mr. Dino, right? If you have any questions, please feel free to find me. I'll tell you what, I'll go into the hall after this. Ask me all the questions you want. We have about 10 minutes. No, you know what? I'll just stand right here. We have about 10 minutes.